librarian, which means that I take care of the departments of health science, healthcare administration, nursing, physical therapy, and kinesiology. So I come to librarianship a little bit differently than some of my librarian friends in that I spent 15 years working at a hospital, primarily as an assistant clinical research coordinator. That meant that I helped the doctors and nurses coordinate their clinical research as they were prepping to see patients, get their manuscripts published from the research that they were done, things like that. One of my roles was also as the kind of I'll call myself the captain of IRB. I had a lot to do with the IRB paperwork and making sure that we were in compliance. So I tell you that because I want you to know that I'm always approaching everything with that mindset, with that backstory of having worked in a hospital and worked in the clinical field. So I tell you that because I want you guys to know if you have any questions about your research and you're kind of needing a little bit of help, you can always come to me. I am a resource for you. You can always come to me with questions. Oh, okay. All right. So the first thing that I want to know is I'm going to give 3 colors. Okay. So listen carefully. Okay. We're going to be 3 colors today. And in the chat, we're going to be using chat a lot today. So if you could go ahead and open chat. And in the chat today, I would just like you to tell me what color you are feeling today. Okay. So are you feeling purple? Are you feeling yellow? Or are you feeling green? So go ahead and type in the chat today. Are you feeling purple, yellow, or green? Very good. Very good. Oh, we're kind of all over the place. I like it's kind of evenly distributed. We don't have like a front runner of how people are feeling today. I always feel like purple is a little bit like tired. It's like yellow is just like you're good, you're happy, you're ready to go. I don't know what green means, but we'll see. All right, so this is just my way of engaging with you to let you know that we are going to be using that chat field. So when I do ask a question, I hope that everyone can use that chat box to go ahead and react with me. When we are in this kind of Brady Bunch chat mode, I do ask if you are willing and able to go ahead and have your camera on. That way I know that y'all can hear me and I know that everything is, I'm getting through to who I'm talking to. When I go into presentation mode and I'm sharing my screen, feel free to turn that camera right back off and go ahead and just pay attention to what I'm doing. That's kind of how I approach class. And so I'm hopeful that y'all can work with me there. Okay. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to start sharing my screen and we'll talk a little bit about library resources. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. Let's see. I think we'll actually start at the Canvas course because what I want you all to see is that, and hopefully you can all see the Canvas course right now. The Canvas course is coming up. Can I get somebody to tell me yes, it is?
Yep, we got it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So when you're looking at a Canvas course, this is the one that we are offering from the library. You'll go ahead and see when you click on the Canvas course that says check out the library, you'll see a bunch of information here. A welcome to the library, how to access your account, if you need help with things, if you want to print something in the library, how you can get that done. And that is going to be an individual card, just like any of your other classes in Canvas. Okay, that will remain there throughout the duration of your time as a student here. So no matter what semester it is, this will be available to you. Okay, so if you ever have any questions, you want to walk through a couple of things, there's some quizzes in here, or maybe a professor you have later asks you to take one of these quizzes, know that you can go through one of these and take any one of these modules. Now, this is also a good example of kind of some of the layouts of what you're going to see. Now, I'm in the teacher view for this one right now, but you'll also see one of these library tools buttons. Okay, and this is going to be there for every single one of your courses. Okay, and what happens when you click on library tools is it'll open up a page that allows you to go to any one of the research guides that's tied to that class. So for example, this one is the library course, so it's going to all the library guides. But when you click on it for this class, which is what we're going to be doing later today, when you click on it for this class, you'll see healthcare administration listed here. And then that will take you to one of the healthcare administration research guides. Okay, so keep that in mind moving forward. This is a great place for you to start when you're accessing the library. Okay, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, and we're going to go ahead and talk now, just going to go straight from the library's homepage. So we're going to kind of, instead of starting with Canvas, we're going to start at the library's homepage instead. I think it's important that we know how to get to the library from multiple venues. So we'll go ahead and share my screen again, and we're going to start at the library's homepage. Okay. So from the library's homepage, you should be able to see, you'll see this ginormous picture in the front. Why it's so ginormous, I'm really not sure. But you'll have a menu up here at the top, which will give you a bunch of different ways that you can access information. I like to point out the how-to right here under services. When you click on that plus sign, it is going to give you a bunch of different options, how to check out a book, how to find items on reserve, how to use interlibrary loan, things like that. So keep that menu in mind. Additionally, over here on the right, you'll have the hours. Now, the hours are going to be different depending on the day of the week. The hours are going to be, you know, kind of like, for example, today we're open until 10 o'clock. But if I go to view all the hours for the month, you'll notice yesterday we were closed. So then today you have all of the different days. You know, you can see what our hours are. We're only open until 4 o'clock on Saturdays. We're open till 5 o'clock on Fridays, and we're open till 8 o'clock on Sundays. So keep that moving, you know, keep that in mind moving forward. Should you need to access anything in the library, that's where you're going to find that. You can view all hours. Okay. All right. So let's get started with some of the library's resources. We have OneSearch, which I like to think of like a Google box for the library, right? Something that we're going to use to kind of search for almost, you know, any type of resource. And that's exactly what this kind of filter at the beginning of the box right here, when it says search for everything, it's allowing you to look for all kinds of resources, not necessarily every single item in the library. And I think that that's an important distinction, because sometimes you may be looking for something, you check OneSearch, and even if we own it, OneSearch may not say that we do. So it's important that you try databases as well and look in other places, because OneSearch isn't the entirety of everything that we have. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, it's also the best place to look for books. You'll see from my screen, you can see that there's books and media CSULB, and then there's books and media all CSU. Okay, and there's a difference there. Basically, CSULB means anything that you should be able to walk into the library and pick out today, or anything you would be able to download today. Okay, all CSU is because we are a consortia library. That means that you have access to all 23 campuses' libraries. So if you wanted to borrow a book that happens to live at San Diego, you could go ahead and check out that book through this tab, and you could get it from our library. You'd get it from our front desk, everything, or a locker, and everything would be great. You'd return it to us the same way, but it would in fact remain property of San Diego the entire time. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and look for a book. Let's go ahead and look for something on, I don't know, healthcare marketing. Okay, so I'm going to use it as healthcare as two separate words. You could put this as one word as well. And I'll go ahead and hit search. Okay, you'll notice a yellow banner up here at the top. It's reminding me to sign in. Now, I did sign in earlier, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Sometimes it'll allow me to just go ahead and click on it, and it'll allow me to go ahead in, and then other times it's going to ask me to re-authenticate myself. So just keep in mind, sometimes you don't have to actually do the password again. So like that right there, okay? And the reason why I'm signing in is because it's going to give me different results, whether I'm signed in or not signed in. Meaning if I'm signed in and there is a book from San Diego that I wanted to borrow, it's going to give me that link to request it, okay? Because it knows I'm a student and it knows that I'm involved and it wants to allow me those special privileges, right? If I'm not signed in, it's not going to give that link to you. It's just going to say not available. So you want to make sure that you're signed in. If you access this through Canvas or through your single sign-on, you'll be already signed in. But if you come in through the web page, you may be asked to sign in again, okay? Okay, so here we have some books. We'll go ahead and look at these. You'll notice that the top two right here, you can see that they say online access. Okay, the first is, whoopsies, I clicked on it. The first is a book, okay, and that says online access. That is a digital book. It's an ebook, which means you don't actually have to be in the library to check it out. You can just click on online access and you'll be able to access the vendor's point from there. Okay, the next one is listed as actually a journal. It's a journal title. Now, in OneSearch, journal titles are listed as books, okay? And that is because once upon a time, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, they used to take all of the journals, glue them together, hardback them, and put them on the shelf like they were a book, right? So we can think about it that way. So if you're looking for a journal title, not the article title, mind you, but a journal by title, you could also search for that here, okay? And then you'll notice the third one down, it has another book, but this one gives you a physical location. That's an indicator to let you know that this is a physical book that you could walk into the library and grab it from the stacks, okay? This is giving you its location. It's on the 4th floor. It's letting you know that it's in the RA section. The majority of healthcare books are in the letter R. So anytime you're looking for something that's regarding health, you can know that it's going to be on the 4th floor because it is going to be with the letter R. Now, we use Library of Congress, which means that all of our books are sorted by topic. That's why everything regarding health is going to be in the same area. So if you like this book and you go up there and you like it, but you're like, gosh, I don't know, it's from 1984, maybe this seems a little bit old. You can go up to this book on the shelf and you can look to the left and you can look to the right of it. And what you see there is going to be related to the same topic. So you can always get up into the stacks and then browse from there. You don't have to always be doing it on the computer. You can go up and be browsing through the physical books from there, okay? Okay, anytime you want to filter anything, there's filters over here on the left-hand side. For example, if I wanted to filter by date, I could go ahead and remove that date right there and go ahead and put in maybe 2020. I could update everything that I'm doing and it's going to remove anything that's older than that. So now it's limited my results, you know, and it's only giving me things that are from 2020 and up, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a pause here and come back to you all. How are we doing out there? We covered a lot already, right? We covered how to get here. We talked about Canvas and getting it through the web page. We talked about, you know, OneSearch, searching for books, things like that. Are we doing okay out there? Is everybody all right? Any questions so far about books or anything else? You have it, now's the time to ask, because I talk a lot. We're feeling good. I see lots of thumbs up. Okay, perfect, perfect. Okay, instead of assuming that there are no questions, I'm just going to ask if you are okay to move on. Go ahead and type okay in the chat for me. And that lets me know that you're okay and everything's cool and we can start talking about something else. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen once again. Okay, so here we are back where we started. Now I'm going to go to the library's homepage, and there's two different ways that we can access those research guides. Like I said, one of them I said is going to be available via library tools. But if you're not in Canvas and you want to go to one of the research guides, I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay, so here we are at the library's homepage. We just talked about OneSearch. You'll see these two links right below the OneSearch box. One says databases and one says research guides. Now, these are important because they're going to link you to, strangely, databases and research guides, which is a great place to look for articles, okay? So databases, when you click on that, it's going to bring you to an alphabetical list of our databases, A to Z, easy peasy, no problem. However, there are 335 databases. You can think of that as the ability to shop at 335 stores, okay? Now, it can be a little bit confusing to know which database to go to. If instead of looking for an article, I was shopping for carrots, let's just say, and I had 335 stores to choose from to find those carrots, I'd want to make sure that I'm going to the right kind of store to purchase that item, right? So let's just say I could go to a grocery store, I could go to Foot Locker, or I could go to Target. Okay, everybody put in the chat for me the one store they would not go to shop for carrots. Would it be Target? Would it be grocery store? Would it be Foot Locker? Foot Locker, right? I mean, chances are they're probably, I mean, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in a Foot Locker. Maybe they have snacks, but I'm guessing that they probably would not have carrots there, right? They maybe have like more stingers or some other sort of fuel gel or something, right? Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that database selection is important. It's important to pick the right store to find the right kind of information. It's important to pick the right database when you're looking for a particular kind of article, okay? So instead of coming to the giant list that's 335 databases, instead what I suggest a great place to start is to go to one that is only things regarding healthcare administration. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to research guides instead. And instead, I'm going to pick my topic for my class, which is going to be healthcare administration. Like I said, this will be where you'll end up if you click on library tools anyway. Okay. So we need to go to healthcare administration right there. I'm going to click on this white box right here, and it's going to take me to the healthcare administration research guide. Now you'll notice here is again that link for, here's a finding articles and databases. So when I click on this though, instead of being 335, it's going to give you a very short list of different ones that you could look at. Okay, so this is a great place to start. It limits the stores you can shop at. It's going to remove all the Foot Lockers when you're shopping for carrots, okay? It's gonna allow you to do that. So a couple of note, we have Academic Search Complete. It's super popular, really a great multidisciplinary database. If you have no idea what database you want, or if you're still kind of shopping around for a topic, Academic Search Complete is a great one to start with, okay? If you have a primarily a health search that you want to do, it's primarily about a health topic, and that's what your project is about. I would go ahead and choose CINAHL. It's the CINAHL. It's a cumulative index of nursing and health literature. But that's where I would go for that one. Okay, so if you wanted to search for business information, you really want to focus on that marketing angle, you could go to Business Source Premier. Each one of these has its kind of like specialized topic, just like any store would too. It's kind of that specialized store, okay? So make sure when you're selecting things, you pick one that is appropriate for what you want to do. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and pick Academic Search Complete for fun. I just make it up as I'm going along. So we will go ahead and pick that one. Because right now, I'm not really sure what topic we're going to talk about. I'm going to make that up as we go along too. Okay, so here we are at Academic Search Complete. And one reason that I like showing this one is because it is made by a vendor called EBSCO, which if you've done any community college classes, a lot of times they refer to the whole suite as EBSCO, things like that. So if you are looking in Academic Search Complete, EBSCO's databases all look the same. Their user interface is identical. The only thing that's going to change is this highlighted portion that says Academic Search Complete. Everything else is going to look primarily the same. So I like teaching this one because it shows you how to use 45 other databases as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in social media and hospitals maybe. Okay, or hospital singular. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit search, right? Let's say I want to talk about how hospitals use social media. And so you'll notice that because I was very broad, I got 6,544 results. Okay, so just out of curiosity, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. With a show of thumbs up, can anybody tell me how many times they've been in this position where they put in their terms and they get this like overwhelming number of articles? Has this happened to anybody before? Just by a show of thumbs up. Right? And sometimes this can feel like overwhelming because you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? There's way too many articles. I can't deal with this. Okay. So one thing, thank you for sharing, guys. One thing that we should talk about is how we can refine our results. When we're looking for articles, we want to really make sure that those keywords, those key terms are exactly what we want. So for example, maybe if I want to, limit this, maybe I also want to put in a geographical location. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the United States. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do a search again. This time I'm limiting it even more by adding a geographical location. And you can see now just by adding another term, I went ahead and I brought this down to 1,810. Okay, great. So this is great. I'm thinking, okay, like this is getting a little bit closer. I'm getting a little bit more focused on what I'm looking for. Now, one thing you could also do is you might need to expand your search again. How many of you guys have been in that position where you have, done a search and you only find a limited number? Let me see a show of hands for that. Like you only find one or two and you're not able to find exactly what you want, too few. Thumbs up for that. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about what to do when that happens too. Let me go back to sharing my screen. Whoopsies. Okay. So here we are. So here is that USA that I added right down here. Okay. And here's how it changed my results right down there. Okay. And you can see that now I added USA and it limited the number of results that I'm getting right here. Okay. But let's go ahead and use some alternative vocabulary. Okay. Because not every author is going to use the vocabulary that I use. We have to be flexible to think that other people may use different terms. Okay. So like for social media, I'm going to say social media and I'm going to go ahead and add in, I don't know, this one. I'd love to see a hospital TikTok. This one includes TikTok, so I'll go ahead and do it. Hilarious. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for hospital. I'm going to say hospital or healthcare facility. And I'm going to say USA or United States of America, all the different ways that we could say the USA. Okay, so now each time I've done this, you can see that I'm partnering each one of these terms with a tiny little or in between. And that or is important. It's a Boolean operator, and it's telling the database, I don't care which one of these terms you find in the article, I think of them as synonymous, right? So I don't care if they're only talking about Facebook or if they say social media, either one is fine with me. I don't care if they say hospital or if they say, healthcare, either one is fine with me. So by expanding the number of words that you are okay with using, it is immediately going to expand your search, right? So before we added a term, we added another box to limit our search. Now we're going to add additional terms within those boxes to expand our search. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit search again. We're starting with 1800. And then now we're back up to 4,436. So you can see that the way that I'm manipulating my search, the way that I'm adding and subtracting terms directly impacts how many results I'm bringing back. Okay. So now there is a way to filter them. We want to make sure that we're using every single piece of information that we need to look for our search. So for example, over here on the left-hand side, you'll see that I can limit them to peer-reviewed. This is important. We want to make sure that we're limiting to peer-reviewed article. We want that scholarly information. So I'll go ahead and click that box, and it's going to remove anything that's not peer-reviewed. You'll also see that the dates of these articles right now, they go all the way back to 1977. Well, I'm not exactly sure that that's exactly what I want because that seems a little bit off from what social media is. So I'm going to go ahead and change that date. I'm only going to look at the last 3 years. And so I'm going to go ahead and change my dates, and that's going to pull anything that's older. It's going to pull that away, just like it did in the other ones. Okay, I'm also going to say that I only want academic journals. And then additionally, I am limited. I can only fluently read English. So I like to just make sure that I'm not disappointed later. And I don't want to end up really liking this Italian article and then I'm sad because the article is in a language I can't read. So I like to avoid sadness. So I'm going to go ahead and say English only for myself because that's the only language that I read fluently. Okay, so after all of that, right, I added things, I subtracted things, I went in, I put different terms, I used all my filters. Now I have 1,800 articles and I'm like, okay, this is everything I've done. I've done everything that I need to do. Okay, so now I don't want you to feel overwhelmed about having 1,800 articles, okay? That is not an important number because right now you'll notice way over here on the other side of the screen, they are sorted by relevance, which means that the top 100 are going to be the most relevant to your search, which means you may never get down to past number 400 or what have you. So you don't really have to worry about this number unless it is like 1 million or it's 1. If it's 1 million, you need to add more terms and you need to be more focused with your search. If it's 1, you're being too focused with your search and you may need to switch up your terms. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so now we have all of these searches. I can just click on one and say coping strategies, like this looks good. Professional social media. Let's see, professional social media in plastic reconstructive surgery. Okay, that might be good. Developing a network of alteration strategies. These are all looking in, Instagram, maybe that one would be good. Okay, so maybe I really like this one. I'd like to go ahead and look at this article. I'll go ahead and click on the article's title. And you'll notice that I clicked on the article's title. I didn't go directly to any of the attachments, and that was on purpose, okay? Because I want to make sure that I'm looking at this abstract, the summary of the article. I want to make sure that this article is about what I want it to be about. Before I commit to going and trying to read the entirety of the thing, I like to go ahead and just make sure this article is about what I want it to be about. Okay, so now this is another place where you can also see a bunch of helpful tools. We see the full text over here in the corner. Happy days. Everybody loves it when the PDF is embedded. But then over on the right-hand side, you'll also see a bunch of other things. This is a place where you could email this article to yourself. Maybe you're not working on your own device and you want to make sure that you can email this article to yourself. You can do that here. You could save this article. That's another option for you. And then kind of like a favorite among fans is this cite button. So let's go ahead and talk about that cite button for a second. So the cite button is a citation generator. When you click on it, it's going to show you what some of the citations look like, okay? So for example, here is the one for APA right here, okay? Now these are great. I have no problem with using citation generators, but there is one caveat to this, okay? I want you to be careful with these because like 50% of the time they are inaccurate. Not meaning like they usually upload the majority of the correct information. It's the formatting that always needs to be checked. So make sure if you're going to use this and you're going to paste it into your assignment, make sure that you are, reformatting it. For example, the capitalization is correct. For a second, I thought this one was actually correct, but it's not because this little A right here should be capitalized because it's after a colon. And that's a lot of times where they make those mistakes is in the capitalization of the article's title. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so if for some reason you go into, let's go back to that results list. If you go into the results list and you don't see the PDF embedded, that's when you can use the Get It guide. Okay, this little black box that says Get It, this will allow you to look in some of the other databases. So if I wanted to go ahead and click on that, it's going to go ahead and look for this somewhere else, right? It's going to go see if maybe this happens to be in a different database. So keep that in mind too. Just because the PDF isn't sitting there doesn't mean that the library doesn't have it, okay? It's telling me to sign in again, of course, as always, hundreds of times, okay. So keep that in mind. You always want to kind of refresh your signing in. Now, after you've signed in, you may notice that this thing might also happen. It's telling you to search for an open access copy, okay? So now, that's two ways so far that we could look for the article. We could use the PDF or we could use the Get It guide. The other thing that you could do is you could search Google Scholar for a copy, okay? And when you do that, it kind of sends you directly to Google Scholar, and you can check to see if Google Scholar has a copy, okay? So that's 3 different ways that you can access the full text, okay? Number 4 is to request a copy. Sometimes there'll be nothing below that, and then there'll be a request button, and it'll say request, and then that is the 4th way that you can do that. I'm going to pause for a second here. We're going to take a little break. How many of you guys, when you're looking for articles, have been put in the position where you end up on a publisher's page and they are asking you to purchase that article? Has anybody had that happen before? Yeah? Does anybody remember how much money they wanted you? Put it in the chat if you remember how much money they wanted you to pay for that article. $40 or $50, $30. Yep. Yeah. Right. I mean, okay, so here's the deal. $1.99. Well, I'd actually be tempted for $1.99. I have to say I would be tempted for $1.99. However, here's a promise that I want you guys to make me, okay? And this is what's going to happen. Look, this is too much money. $30, $40, $50. You shouldn't, life is expensive. School is expensive. You should not have to pay for articles. It is the library's job to do that for you, okay? So you're all gonna make me a promise. Are you ready to make me a promise? You're gonna type promise in the chat for me. And the promise you are going to make is that you will never, ever, 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 ever pay for an article. Type promise in the chat that you will never, ever, ever, ever pay for an article, okay? And here's why. Let me buy those things for you. Okay, let me buy it for you. Okay, promise, pinky promises that you will never pay for an article. Okay, so if for some reason we don't have a copy, you use that request button. Okay. And what'll happen is that we will go talk to another library who does own that article, and we will purchase a copy from them. And then we will email you a link with the PDF. Okay. And it's all super easy. You just click on the button, the form autofills. You have to answer like one question, and then everything else goes through your account, your library account. Okay. Which is linked to your single sign on. There's no additional signing in. It's really so easy. And generally, it only takes about 24 to 48 hours. Okay. The longest I've heard lately, it used to be 2 to 5 days, but now it's really gotten shorter and it's more like 1 to 2 days. Okay. So keep that in mind. Should there be an article that you really want and you can't seem to find a copy, don't go to the publisher's page. They're just going to ask you to pay for it. Let me buy it for you. Okay. Let's see, I did request a book or an article before from the library. By the time I got it access, the course was finished. Oh, well, that's really too bad. Usually it doesn't take that long. So there must have been an issue with that one. Books can take up to 5 days. A physical item, because that does have to be mailed here. Digital items will take a shorter amount of time because that's just being sent, right? But a physical item, those can take up to 5 days. I am surprised it took so long. Generally, it doesn't. I'm really sorry about that. You must have found a very rare book that was only available in Germany or something. I don't know. So I'm sorry about that. Hopefully next time. Oh, and it was a summer course. Yeah. So one thing to know about a summer course is that not every academic library is open during the summer. So during the summer, we are open. I'm a 12-month schedule. I'm here all summer. But there are other libraries that may not be open. So that limits the amount of people that we can borrow from, right? So we have to go find somebody that has it and then request it from them. So if their hours are limited in the summer, that's probably what put that limitation on that. So I'm sorry about that. Okay. So how are we doing out there? We've talked about a lot now. We've talked about synonyms. We've talked about finding articles, all the different ways. How are we feeling out there? We feeling okay? Does anybody have any questions? I love questions. We're feeling okay? No questions? We're too tired for questions? Okay. Yes, we're too tired for questions. Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Right. I'm coming out this like I'm always high energy for classes. Okay. So it's okay. I'm a lot. It's okay. Okay. So here we go. Here's what we're going to do. So I've pretty much covered the basics. And so instead of me talking at you, what we're going to do is we're going to go into groups, and I'm going to have you guys kind of walk your way through this on your own, together in little groups. Okay. When you're in these groups, I do recommend take your camera off, even if you're tired. Okay. Even if you're still like literally head on the pillow, that's okay. Put your camera on, talk to your colleagues. It's early in the semester. This is going to be a great time to get to know other people. When you're working on projects, you have a question about something, get to know your classmates. Okay. This is a great opportunity for that because you're going to be in little groups. Okay. And let me show you what your assignment's going to look like. Okay. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen one more time. Okay. So what we're doing today is, of course, an escape room, because Michelle doesn't do anything normal. Okay. So we're going to do an escape room. Okay. So here are a couple of different things. The first couple of slides are instructional. They're going to talk about how to get to the library's research guide for healthcare administration. And there's two different ways to do it. You can either go through the library tools, which will send you to something that looks like this. Okay. In which case, then you'll end up here. Or you can start here from the library's homepage and go through like we did together. Okay. Either way, you're going to end up at the at the Healthcare Administration Research Guide. And then you're going to go to this and you're going to pick a database just like we did together. Remember, we picked Academic Search Complete. Okay. So you could pick one as well. Okay. So that will be. Then you're going to go to your breakout room slide. Okay. There's a slide for each room. Okay. It's going to look like that. In the end, you want it to be all filled in. Okay, so this is the example. Right here was the search topic that this group was given. They decided to look in the database called CINAHL. Here are the keywords that they did. Here is the article that they found. This little link at the bottom here, that's the article that they found. Okay, it was a scholarly article published in the last 5 years. And then to polish everything off, they did a quick APA puzzle. Now, it's okay if your APA citation for this is not perfect. It's okay if you just want to go to the citation generator and copy and paste it in here. For today, that's okay. Okay, I'm not going to expect it to be perfect. But for your assignments, make sure you correct it. Okay, just know that going in. For today, it's fine because you're not going to be graded on this. Okay. So also do a group name, decide together. Obviously, I take this very seriously since this group name is Awesome Awesomeness. Take this very seriously. So here's your exit ticket. Because this is an escape room, once you are done with everything here, go through your checklist, answer any additional questions. Once you're done, you can come back to the main room. You're escaping your breakout room. Yeah? Okay. So does this make sense to everyone? Is there any questions about the assignment? No questions about the assignment. Everybody understands. We're just going in. If you're group 1, right? If you're breakout room 1, you're going to go to room 1. If you're breakout room 2, you're going to go to room 2. And it's 1 slide per group. Okay? You just work on it together and you fill it in. Okay? Okay. So we'll go ahead and get some breakout rooms going. Let's see. We'll do 5 rooms today. Okay? First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the link to the slide deck in the chat. Make sure you click on that so that you can access the assignment. Okay, I'm going to create 5 breakout rooms. Okay. All right, so now we have about 5 or 6 people per room. Okay, so that should be enough for everybody to be able to chat about things, participate. Maybe you want to have one person that's typing all the time. Maybe you don't. Talk it over. Decide what database is best for your question. Everyone's question is different, so everybody's database may be different. Okay. All right, so if there's no questions moving forward, I'm going to go ahead and open all the rooms. I'll pop in and just make sure everybody's okay. But I'll pop in and make sure that you guys can get started. But I'll give you a few minutes to start to work on things. Okay. Okay. The slides are in the chat, right? Everybody has access to that. I'm going to open all of the rooms. Emma, Jenny, Amy, Julia. There we go. Sometimes it just takes saying their name. Make sure they know.
Yeah, they probably didn't realize they've been sent somewhere.
Well, sometimes it's hard to sometimes if you don't click on it right away, the pop-up goes away too, and then they have to find it at the bottom.
Right.
Nema, Jenny, and Julia, are you all able to see it? Jenny, were you able to find the breakout room? If you can't see the breakout room, can you drop it in the chat that you can't find it?
There's no way to force her in either. Jenny,
Yeah.
are you there? Jenny.
Let's see.
I'm always tempted to drop them, out of the class.
Oh, you mean to mean just for the day and just see if they pop in, because then that makes it, yeah.
See if they come back.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I don't know what it says. I could put them in the waiting room, but that doesn't help.
No. Let me see what I can do over here.
That's all that I have. I have unmute.
Yeah, I can just, I don't want to remove her permanently, but I wonder if I can just remove her for the day. Or, she can come back in if she realizes she's dumped. Jenny, are you there?
All I have is, there's remove, but that, I don't know. Maybe they just went to get a glass of water. We'll give them a couple more minutes.
Okay. They're not back in 2 minutes, I'll just remove her. I think that just removes them for the day. Hmm.
Let's see. All right. I wasn't sure how many people we have, so I did make a 6 slide, but luckily the 6 slide doesn't have a question on it. So, so I'm a note, so I can see like by looking at it right now, nobody's on it.
Yeah, and I'll send you the link since we get off for the afternoon class. That class has 29.
Okay. Okay. So that should be
Yeah,
fine with 5 then too. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm tired. My daughter was in Colorado this week. Well, this weekend for the Parents' Day because I have a grandson at the Air Force Academy. And so her and her husband went to that. And then, they have 2 sets of kids. They have the older ones. One of them just graduated from the Naval Academy. And then the other one is a junior at the Air Force Academy. And then 2 that are 6 and 8.
I was going to say, because you were saying like, I'm like, that's so weird because I could have sworn you told me they were little. Like,
Yeah, that's right. They're like 12 years apart.
oh, wow.
Yeah, they're, I don't know what got into her. But anyway, so that's where but the airplane, like I was flying in when the tornado or the hurricane was here also. So my flight
gosh.
got changed like 4 times. And, and she's like, you just got to get here. We got this flight. I'm like, okay. So my flight got changed to Orlando, and I really did not want to drive to Orlando at midnight. And because it's like 70 or 80 miles and in the weather, so
yeah.
I kept watching and I got bumped. Then I got moved back to Tampa, but it was getting in at 6 in the morning and probably it was going to be late, So I told her, I said, just bring the kids in the car and change them off with me, But anyway, they ended up being able to move their flight to like 11. But now I'm sweating bullets because I have a flight in the morning because I need to be back for a meeting. And their flight got moved today to later.
Oh, no.
So, I said, y'all need a backup plan.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah, they better have someone that, I don't know. I'm going to probably end up having to move my flight again,
Right. Yeah.
But it's crazy. I mean, these flights are just, you don't
Yeah.
have to do it yourself. They do it to you,
Yeah. No, and it's interesting because as like the years have gone on, it used to be that like flights were so dependable, like you never
You didn't
even
consider
thought
that.
twice.
Yeah,
you never
that's
even
right.
thought twice. But
Yeah.
my husband and my daughter, they went to New York over the December holidays. And she was meeting a friend there. And so we didn't want her flying alone yet because she was only 14. And, she probably could have done it, but I was like, well, whatever. And my husband's one of his college roommates was there. And he's like, well, I'll just go visit my college roommate. And I was like, great. So they were going to go together and then he was going to drop her off and then she was going to fly home with her friend.
Right.
Their flight got moved 3 separate times.
I believe it. And
so
that probably wasn't even weather. That was just,
no,
whatever.
that was just busy, right? And
Yeah.
so my husband was so sad because he was like, it was kept, going into, he had this short, like kind of vacation, like a 4-day vacation, and it kept making his vacation short.
Right. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and because he didn't want to move the coming back time because he had to go to work when he was done,
Right.
So it's just,
it kept whacking away at it. I know.
Yeah, but that wasn't weather related. It was just,
No, it's just typical.
Yeah, it's just lack of employees or like whatever it was.
Yeah, that's lack of crew. I tell you what, I don't typically fly American, but 3 times in the last couple of months I've had to fly American because they're the only ones that went there. Every time they left me stranded somewhere. One time they left me stranded in South Texas and then left me stranded again that same trip in Dallas. And then
oh my gosh.
Next time I got left stranded in, I think it was Atlanta. And then the next time I was left stranded in.
Okay, y'all, how are we doing out there? I was so pleased to see everybody troubleshooting through the assignment and, trying to work with each other to try to figure out kind of how to find articles. I recognize that, might not be able to find something like right away, and that's fine. Or maybe the date of the one that you found isn't exactly correct, and that's okay for today. right? Because today is just a practice, right? This is all about the process. So don't worry about any of that too much, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen right now, and we're going to go through each group's results so we can kind of see how everybody did and one thing that everybody learned. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to sharing our screen, and I'll share that slide deck that y'all just created, okay? Okie dokie. Okay, so here was the example that we started with, right? So here was how it was supposed to end up looking. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to room one. Room one was the emotional care group. They were looking for emotional care. They were looking at the impact of therapy dogs on inpatient stay for children. Looks like they found an article that was appropriate. They found out that horses were also used for therapy. Awesome, awesome. Love that. And they were able to complete the puzzle. Okay, great job, room one. Applause, applause. Very good. All right, let's go into room two. The room two was exercising women. They were looking at the impact of exercise on depression in middle-aged women. They had some great search terms. We're searching academic search complete, found an article that was related, finished the jigsaw puzzle. And one thing that they learned today was that filters help narrow options down and specify categories. Yes, use those filters whenever you need them, okay? All right, let's go now to room three. Room three was working on kind of a tricky question. They were talking about chocolate milk and exercise recovery. Let's see, they were looking at chocolate milk provided good protein, carbs, and calcium to enhance muscle. Yes, it does. Generally, you know, if you ever need a little pick-me-up after exercise, chocolate milk is a way to go. They have an article from Prevention Magazine, and they did the jigsaw puzzle. Way to go. Then their group name was third the best. Oh, I forgot to look at the group name for room two. Oh no, I did. Okay, exercising women, third the best. Okay, applause, applause, applause. Okay, moving forward. We'll go into room four. Room four is the morning birds. Oh, I love that. They were looking at sleep quality and the academic achievement of high school students. They were looking at high school and sleep. They were able to find they were looking at some articles. One thing that they learned today, if nothing comes up with an initial search, try to rework the keywords. And that's a really important part of research is if you're putting in words and things aren't coming up, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can either change the database that you're using or you change the words that you're searching. Because if nothing's coming up, you need to like kind of tweak what you're doing. So that's a great point. Room four, morning birds, way to go, way to go. And last but not least, we have room five. Room five was the ones that they were able to escape the quickest, y'all, I have to say. Room five, they were the Revengers. Excuse me, the Revengers. They were looking at telehealth and nursing shortages. Let's see, it looked like challenges in current nursing home care. Very good with telehealth. Excellent, excellent. And they were using, they even used Boolean. You guys, my favorite. They refined using Boolean keywords such as and, or, and not. Very good. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, way to go, room five. Applause, applause. Okay, so hopefully that gave you all a good idea of what it's going to be like when you're searching for information on your own, right? When you're working and you're trying to get information for an assignment, that hopefully walked you through some of those steps, give you an idea of what to expect. If you have any questions, whether it's this semester or next semester, what have you, you'll be able to find me under Contact a Librarian on that, but I'll also just drop my email right here in the chat. I care about you and your success. I want you all to be successful. So if you ever have a question regarding research, you feel free to reach out to me and I will help you with whatever issue it is that you are having. Okay, here's my email. Let's see. It doesn't want to accept it. csulb.edu. There it goes. Okay, so there is my email address. You can reach out to me anytime regarding your assignments, okay? You can also access chat from the little widget down at the bottom. It'll say Ask a Librarian. That's available 24/7. Or you can always go up to a librarian at the reference desk anytime the library, whenever the desk is open. You don't need an appointment. You can just ask a question. Okay, any last minute questions as we're wrapping up? Anybody have anything they want to ask about the library? Okay, so
Thank you.
I have,
Thank you
of
so
course.
much.
Of course. I have one question for you all. Tell me if you're feeling a little bit more comfortable and confident with the library's resources. Can I get a little thumbs up if you're feeling good about it? We're feeling good? Oh, good. Well, then that's good. Excellent, excellent. Well, I leave you all in Linda's very capable hands. She is a wonderful human. You're lucky to have her. She's amazing. And have a good semester and just feel free to find me if you need me, okay?
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. It was great. Super. Thank you.
And I'll see you tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be sending you the link in a minute.
Okay, 7 o'clock, right?
7 o'clock.
Okay. All right,
All
bye,
right.
y'all.
All right, super. Okay, all right, Naomi and Salita, the two people that asked me a question about the personal worksheet. Hang on just a minute. When everybody else is free to go, y'all have a great week. Remember, no class on Thursday, and be working on your group projects, on your APA, on the other things that you need to get going. This is just giving you an extra iron 15 minutes that I know everybody needs right now. So to try and get your feet grounded. All right, have a great week. Except that everybody can go except the two people that asked me a question a while ago.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Sure. Okay. We still got people hanging here.
Question.
Sandra, you need something?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I also submitted it after, but I wrote it in handwriting. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I
And-
like for it to be typed, but this time, since I didn't specify, it's fine.
Okay. Thank you. And also when I submitted it, I don't know if it's working or not. So could you let me know later or whenever?
Of course.
If
I'll
you
let
could-
you know. Send me an email and
Thank you.
remind me.
Okay,
But I
will
will
do.
definitely do that. Okay. Okay, is that okay? We're down. Vincent, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, can I just like quickly share my screen right now so I can like show you, or do you want me to wait?
Yeah, hang on just 1 second,
Okay.
okay? Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce your name. Say it for me.
Salita.
Salita, okay. And all right, so I was pretty sure I put a date, but if I didn't, I'm gonna give y'all till tomorrow, okay?
Okay, so we can submit till tomorrow.
Yeah, you can submit it tomorrow, and I'll go in and change it on so you'll be able to submit it by 11:55 tomorrow night, okay?
Thank you so much, Professor.
Oh, you're welcome. All right, y'all have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
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 Okay.
Okay.
Mary, you have a question?
Yes. It was about the personal statement as well.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
know. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Vincent. Let me give you I think you have I think I gave everybody the ability to share. Yeah, you should be able to share it.
For me, Professor, it's the same question about the personal mission statement. So I think you gave the answer. So
Yeah,
I'm good now.
absolutely. You can turn it in tomorrow night.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Vincent.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I think this is the place you want us to buy it like directly, but I'm not sure if this is the scenarios you want because only said one scenario.
No, that's it. They just got it tied. That is it. It's the I think they might call it one, but what I would do if I was you is call them and be sure. But there's only one. You get 4 scenarios, and I can't imagine there would be just one. And he said he paid 89, so I'm 99.9% sure that this is
Okay.
it. But you could give them a call and be sure. But I can't imagine that that's not the correct one.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just cancel my order from the Cal State.
Bookstore.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can because you can always return it within 10 days. So I can't imagine that you can't cancel it, and then use that code and hopefully, it'll work on this also because that'll bring it down to the same price as bookstore.
Okay. Yeah, and
Okay.
where we like put our code in, if anything, redeem
Yeah.
code, right?
I
Okay.
think that's a different thing. That's
Oh,
a
okay.
code that's a code. Once you buy it, they're going to give you a code to get to it, and that's where that goes. When you go through the process, like when you add it to your cart and you get ready to pay, I think it's going to ask you if you have any kind of a code, and you're going to be able to put that study 25 and maybe with the asterisk and redeem or apply. I think apply is what it says.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think if I cancel my order, do I have to be in the bookstore like in person, or can I just like call them and be like,
I think you can call them. Did you
okay,
order it online?
yeah,
Okay, call them and ask them. They might tell you that you need to go online to do it. I'm not sure, but be sure if you do that and they say, "Oh, we'll cancel it or whatever," get a name, because
okay,
they have 5,000 people working there, and 4,999 probably are not sure. so be sure you have somebody's name that you can say, "This person told me this is what I need to do."
okay. All
Okay?
right. I'll ask for a name then. All right. Thank you
Yeah,
so
ask
much.
them for their name. Okay.
All right. I'll email you or contact you if I have any more questions. But thank you.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely. Okay.
right.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye.